Okay, so now it's done.
Okay, hello everybody. Today I'm going to, does anybody hear me? Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. So today I'm going to talk about my, my draft of the article, which I was working with Dasha for like maybe 2 years or something like that, because the empirical object of this article is is the same as we've done with my master thesis, but after that time we've done much more than it was for the master thesis. So I hope you will enjoy it and will give us some comments about it. So right now the name of the future of the article is the structure of the professional online community, the case of Russian sociologists. So right now we have this the content of article includes 5 main points: introduction, literature review, data and methodology, and parts with the results and discussions and conclusions. So we beginning with the concept of the community, then about the network approach to study communities, then we trying to clarify some points about the professional online communities, and then we continue with the studies about the professional communities of sociologists, which are existed in Russia. Then we have the part with the data and methodology, explanation about empirical object, data collection, methodology, network construction. And then we have results. So the concept of the community. Originally, this concept was the community was defined with clear ideological and political consequences. There were a problem in defining community as the society or as the state. It is noticeable in the works of Gobbs, Spinoza, Locke, Kant, Tönnies, and Fichte. Then during the development of industrialization, the further development of the concept of community were connected with the works of Marx, Durkheim, Engels, Weber, and Zeman. Then there was a rise of community studies in the Chicago School of Sociology, and then Barry Wellman, the Canadian sociologist, he defined the community question, and he explained the communities as networks of interpersonal ties that provide sociability, support, information, a sense of belonging, and social identity. Then in the era of technology, we have right now virtual or online communities, and the first one who somehow defined the online communities was Reingold. And from his point of view, virtual communities are social associations that arise from the network when a sufficient number of people lead public discussions long enough with enough human feeling to form networks of personal relationships in cyberspace. Then we have a part with the network approach to study community, and we found the work of Faust and Wasserman, who constructed 5 main types structures, which are based on the block models. And here we have cohesive subgroups, core periphery structure, centralized structure, hierarchy, and transitivity, transitive types of structure. Then we have a part with the professional online community studies, and what we found that the professional communities are defined or maybe studied with the use of the term community of practice. And the community of practice, it is the groups of people who share the same concerns, set of problems, or a passion about the topic, and who deep their knowledge and expertise in this area by interacting and on an ongoing basis. This is the definition by Wenger, McDermott, and Snyder. And the community of practice consists of four main parts, main components. First is area of interest. So it is the field of activity, area of expertise. Then it is the community itself. It is the sense of belonging, commitment, identity, common history. Then it is common practice, knowledge and action. And for online communities, it is technologies. And technology they define as virtual settlement, as an existence of the special digital habitat of community of practice. Then we followed the work of Wenger with the Leif. They created a model, peripheral participation model, which is working with the trajectories in community of practice. So there are five main trajectories. The first one is peripheral. They are also called observers. They are people who do not contribute to the community resources, and they are less active participants. Then there are entire trajectory. They are for newcomers. Those who are trying to make some contribution and community activities. Then it is internal trajectory for regular members who are actually actively involved in the community activities. Then the fourth trajectory is borderline trajectory for leaders who interact with the participants. They can express themselves in conceptual ideas and correct problems of interaction in the communities. And then there is a group of those participants who want to leave the community. They maybe just leave for no reason, or they wanted to switch to another activity, to another community. And then we are working with the studies of Russian professional communities of sociologists. And here we have the citation from the work of Batygin and Devyatka, that it would be a simple task to write the history of sociology in USSR if some difficulties had not existed. Perhaps the history of Russian sociology does not lend itself to rational description. That was like the thesis that the history of Russian sociology does not have some linear development, and we've looked for some studies about Russian communities of sociologists. They are followed for the different research objects and different research methods. And here, what we've done a table with the whole studies about community of Russian sociologists, and here we have three main groups of objects of the study. So the first one is sociology as science. There mostly is the historiographic description as the method of analysis. Then we have community of sociologists in academy. Firstly, it is the work of Boris Doktorov, work of our colleagues Batygin, Grudaselsky, Karpachev, and Mazina, who were trying to express the professional academic career and collaboration networks by using the database on the interviews and bibliographic data. Then the works of our colleagues with the structural features and meaning of relations underlying the formation of a professional community of sociologists who've used the interviews which were done by Boris Doktorov. And also we have the study which was made as a community study by Sokolov, by St. Petersburg, by our St. Petersburg colleagues. They were trying to structurize the local community of sociologists in St. Petersburg. And we have also some researchers about pollsters who are working in research agencies. Here we've got not so many studies. First one is devoted to the information culture and professional communications, which was based on the survey. And also there was a study on the same empirical object as I've got right now. That was the study about in-group communication in the professional line community of sociologists, but that communication was about a specific topic. And we can conclude that based on our literature review, the theoretical study of the concept of community were studied for a long time ago, and still it is the actual problem because the explanations and definitions of what is the community, especially what is online community, is still important, and it's still there is still no clearance in this definition, I think. Also, the network approach to study communities is explained as the study of structural patterns of these communities. Then the point is that the professional communities are studies with use of the term of community of practice. And in the studies of Russian sociologists, there are mostly studies about academic community of sociologists more than posters. And here we have the research question. The subject of our research is the structure of the professional line community, and we have maybe three main research questions, which are about what is the structure of the professional line community. The second one, how does the structure change in dynamics? And third one, what are the participation trajectories of the communications between the participants in these online communities, So as for our empirical object, it is unique professional line community because there are academics and posters. So, and the name of this community is Manufaktura Soцпоh from Facebook. As for the data, we've got the data from 2011 till 2018. There are more than 34,000 of posts, 818 active authors, and almost 1,500 active reactors. Then we're using the social network analysis as the research, as the main research methodology in order to analyze the structure of social interaction. We've done indirect block modeling. Then also we've checked the dynamics of this structure, and we were comparing these structural types in different periods. And also we've done the work with defining the main thematical blocks in this community by using the indirect block modeling. But that part would be in another publication, in another article, because we found out that that would be too many subjects in one paper. Regarding the network construction, we've used the program text-to-PAEC, and based on we've created two main networks, network based on comments and network based on likes. And here we have the formula. Firstly, we use the in the program text-to-PAEC, we've done the two-mode network post author. It is post and author, then post and comment. And in order to make the author comment network, a two-mode network, we need to transform the post author network to make it after post, and then we multiply it with the posts and comments, and then we've done author comment, and then we multiply it to the same two-mode network in transformed form, and this is how we've done one-mode network, author and author, who are linked between each other by commenting. And the same with the same steps, we've done network based on likes in the same way. So the network based on comments, we have 818 vertices. In the network based on lines, 5,000 vertices. The networks are directed from the commenting or liking author to the posting author. And the value of link is equal to the number of times one author commented or liked about to another author. Then how we divided to our base to 4 periods. We looked for the group activity in commenting and in liking practices, and we've looked that during the first 3 years it was less stable, and then we've got 2 peaks, and we decided to look for the structure of this community, the time period before peaks, then first peak, second one, and time after the peak. So as for the result, this is the block models of social interactions in the network based on likes, and the first period is the period before the peak. Second period, it is the first peak, and here we've looked. Firstly, all of the network has a core periphery structure. In the second period, we've noticed that the core became smaller, and then in the third period, the core became much bigger, but but the periphery didn't reacting to the core. However, the core were reacting to the periphery. So people who were writing some comments give likes to those who were in periphery, but peripheral probably didn't like what was going on in the core, so they didn't they didn't give the like to them. And then in the fourth period, it becomes also almost the same as in the first period. Then it is the structure based on the block models of social interactions in the network based on comments. In here, the network of comments overall is a little bit I think the practice of commenting contributes more activity in comparison with sharing or giving a like to another person. So the structure shows it also, and here is also the structure also has a core periphery form, but here we've got in the first and the second period some semi-peripheral groups. Then in the third period, the core group became bigger, and also we've got the block with the like a bridging block, who is also somehow has communication and commenting the core group and between themselves, and one zero block as in the semi-peripheral probably, and one block of people who are located in the periphery. And then in the fourth period, it turns the same structure as the first and the second period: the core group, the semi-periphery, and periphery. Then we wanted to check the structure stability, and in order to understand how many incomers and outgoers are located in this community. And we understood that mostly this community consists of the people who are located in the periphery. They are just observers. In order to check the flows of incomers and outgoers, we doesn't need so many people there. So we decided to reduce the network to appropriate size. It is nearly 20% of all participants in each network. We've used for it a logarithmic approach of normalization. So we've got 70 or 80 people in each period. Then after we've done it, with the use of methods of block modeling, we divided the network to two main blocks, the core and periphery. And then we used the rand index in order to measure the stability of the network flow. And that's what we've got. That is the network based on likes. Overall, in the here is a table with the four main periods. We have numbers and percentages. Numbers in core, numbers periphery, and overall, and in 4 time periods. So it's nearly 70, 80, 88 people. And regarding the flows, we've got 3 main groups in each time period. The first one is the core, the second one is the periphery, and the third one, this is the people who came or left out of the community from each point from each time of point. So here we found out that there's not so many people who stayed in the one group, and that results also confirmed by modified rand index. It is 0.3, which is very low, and that means that there is very small part of people who are stable in the same block. That was about the network based on likes, and the same we've done with the network based on comments, and that group, that network is much more chaotic because the modified rand index is 0.08, so it's nearly 1. And that means that there is super crazy fluctuation in that network. And here we've come with the result. The first result is that this community has core periphery structure. The second one, the structure is somehow changing during 4 periods, but not that much to change the structural type. Then there is a difference in network based on likes and comments. We saw it in the macro structural which are based on the block modeling. Then that almost 80% of the participants are lackers, people who do not actively participate in this community. And according to the rand index, the structure of this community is not very stable. So the people all the time are fluctuated from one group to another. And here what we've had. So thank you for your attention. I will be happy to answer your question and listen all your comments.
Okay, to warm up, can I ask her something?
Yeah, sure.
Please, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You say that the structure is very unstable. This is my first comment, actually.
Mm-hmm.
If you go just a few slides, for example, here, you see,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
the difference is in periphery and in that and in the group of incomers and outgoers,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if you are looking for the core, there is quite a lot of people that are stable. So it's quite a difference between the core. The stability is different in the core and in the others, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would distinguish in the interpretation, in the discussion, I would distinguish the stability of the core and the stability of the periphery.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the incomers and outgoers are behaving strangely. That is nothing new, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the let us say a kind of good news for the core is that they are pretty stable. If I understand you, the stability here is with this pink color, right?
Yes, pink color.
Yeah. And if you go a little bit up to see how it is with liking,
Mm-hmm.
you see here the percentage of the stable ones is even higher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But also here also the periphery is quite part, let us say 1/4 of the periphery is also stable. Yeah, the instability comes from those ones coming and going, right?
Yes.
So I would go a bit deeper in the discussion about this this stability.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Can I make some comments?
Yeah,
Yes,
for sure.
So the first question is this manufactura, how representative is this for the sociologist community in general?
I'm not sure. Is it I'm sure that it is not the representation of offline community of sociologists, because there is the group on Facebook. There are and people from academia and people from research agencies. Those are group for the people who have an identity as sociologists. Like they feel that they are doing something sociological, or they explain their profession as sociologists, and they are just doing something in this community.
but
Because I think that maybe some quite important sociologists are not using internet and so on. So it's
yeah, maybe.
but actually, I should add that this is quite a nice example of the group, in sense of
yes, this group in the sense, but
represent.
you need to add the technology. So,
Yes. But I mean, they include a lot of well-known academics and also well-known people who are represent themselves as posters, who are not in academia, but they are working in the field. Actually, it is organized by one person who is saying that he is from the field. But this is quite a nice group in sense of a lot of communication and a lot of sharing a lot of information. So as people who are involved to the field, it looks like this is quite a nice example, and I don't know any other examples of such groups in Russia. So it is quite large, and we think that this is probably a strength of this empirical object, because they include not only academics, but also pollsters, because previous studies mostly paid attention to the academic level. So that's why we think that it can be. But this is very nice, of course, to put the question of representation, of course, yes.
another question is if you can show the slides where you are having these derived networks, where you're computing. There are formulas that multiplication of networks.
It is before.
Yes.
Yeah, here, yeah. So here you first compute this network AC.
Yes.
And then you use AC to get AA. But one possibility would be simply to take AP, then you take PC,
okay,
and then CA, and you get again from A to A.
but
So you take AC,
yes,
then times CP.
AC, PC.
Just a moment.
AP, PC,
AP,
and CA.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
After post comment, and comment after.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So this is
it would be straightforward.
it would be how to say, is just another way to, maybe you can try to what you get in this sense.
Okay.
Then if you show the results of block modeling. So the next where you have 4 different So here. So if you look this third period, here you mentioned that you have this empty. The second block, diagonal block, is empty.
This one, yeah. This one.
Yeah, this one.
In third period, this one, yeah. So one thing is, and I think this can be used also in the case of the other diagrams that flows you have further on. These results have some. They are not determined totally. Essentially, the ordering of different clusters can still be changed. So maybe I don't know what is the clustering structure here up, but I suppose that either you can interchange these two, or you can interchange these two, so that you get how to say the complete diagonal blocks together, and also here, if I look, if I see well, I think here for the second cluster, also the density in the first column is smaller than for the third cluster. So maybe interchanging the order would produce much more readable picture, let us say, much more informative picture.
Yeah. In the third period, I think the second and the third cluster should be interchanged.
If it's possible, because there is a hierarchy there. But if this is not possible, then maybe the first and the second can be interchanged.
Okay.
So, but essentially, when you get the results, look at the result, and because the ordering is not fixed, so essentially you can change the ordering.
Okay.
And changing sometimes the ordering, you get a picture which is, let us say, is more readable. Yeah. And another thing I would like to mention is that you could here you divided the time into 4 different periods.
Yes.
Another approach would be to just look to the trajectories and do the clustering of trajectories.
Clustering of trajectories. Like, what does it mean?
Yeah, for each unit you describe with a kind of temporal quantity that describes how this quantity is changing. And then you can do clustering of this.
Yeah, in this case, you have to put out the incomers and outgoers, probably.
I'm not sure, but how to say it. Essentially, in this way, you could also test or check whether that categorization in, I think, 6 different classes holds also in your case. You listened before, you presented before that, I think, six different types of trajectories. So if you do clustering, you can check this and
yeah.
Vlad, and how to do it technically?
Technically, I have a program for clustering temporal quantities.
So this is TQ package for Python, and then that new
You have to write me,
approach.
and I will send you a problem.
Okay, Vlado, yes, we will ask you how to do it. It's anyway interesting.
But I think, Vlado, in this case, you will have to throw away the incomers and the outgoers, right?
I would need to go deeper into the problem, but how to say, as a general idea, this would be. Then we have to decide what are the temporal quantities and. But in principle, why you think that we need to remove them?
Yeah, because there would now be, you would not have the total trajectory.
Yeah, I have that, but it's how to say, they are inactive in certain period of time.
Yeah, okay. But that would affect the clustering.
Yes, maybe you get a larger number of clusters of, let us say, but maybe you can just put them all together in less active. Another possibility is to control the temporal quantities for, let us say, activity, and if somebody is not active above certain threshold, you just remove such a person. So you study only the
Active
participants that are active enough. But these are how to say technical details.
Great, we should try it. Yes.
Okay, maybe Vlado, are you done?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to this temporal picture a little bit up.
This one,
I think
more up. Yes.
With the periods.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one. Well, I think that you have a clear idea why did you cut this these periods in these 4 times. But do you have? I think that for this second and the third cluster, it would be good just to look a little bit what's going on there. What was happening in these two periods? Did you have a look? I think you did, right?
Yes, we had a look. There was several thematic discussions on these 2 peaks. In the first peak, in the second period, there was high discussions about the Crimea survey, which were done by Russian research agencies. In the second peak, in the third one, there were several topics where the discussions about these topics were increased like very highly, like the discussions about some research problems or research ideas were very high. So that was also like one another option what to think about these 2 peaks. The first peak, the second period, is mostly about the one topic, and the second one there is a number of topics which were discussed in this community.
Yeah. So in the paper, surely after this picture here and decision about this 4 time point, I would discuss a little bit about at least the second and the third cluster. Time period. What is going on there? You know, and according to what you are saying now, it is now obvious that you got more clusters of these sociologists in the third period, because there were several different topics, right?
Yes.
So I think that this kind of information is crucial that you are saying in the paper, but probably you did, right? Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, I think we didn't discuss it so much in details about the topics for this for periods, and I think it is a very good idea.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't need to make a long story, you know, but at least some characteristics of what was going on, you know. Because surely the second and the third period are interesting because it is shown that really something was going on here. So, and it is important that you discuss about it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but you know, I think that I would the Vlada's approach about these trajectories. I think it would be we will see. But it would be maybe a direct testing of that theory about those trajectories that you are saying at the beginning, right? But I think that not to lose time, I would send the paper just a little bit, according to this discussion, a little bit more interpretation and discussion and so on. But I would send it, and then if Vlada's approach would give you some interesting results, then it can be a next paper. So that you don't lose time. I think that the thing which you did with some more discussions or whatsoever can be sent to be published. But the approach of this Vlada's approach, this temporal clustering, if this comes nicely out and would it would be coherent with your theory, you know, then that could be, I think, another paper. I would not wait for that results. I would write another paper, and that one might be that one. I don't know. This one you are sending to this Russian journal, right?
No, actually, we're writing it in English, and we hope to send it to the Journal of Community of Practice.
I
Okay. Okay.
think it was Journal of Communities or something like this.
Or Journal of Communities.
Yeah.
Okay.
But actually, this is a question. So if it can be publishable, so that's why actually, for example, I'm waiting the comments of Valentina because the question is it can it be interesting?
Well,
in
yeah,
sense
I
of
was
publication.
going to say that
in foreign journal, yes.
I was actually going to let everyone ask questions and kind of give their opinion, and I thought that, you know, I would be the last, well, you know, when I say something. I think there are several important parts of this work that could make a contribution. From what I understand, maybe I don't know the literature well enough, but from what I have seen, I don't think I have seen an examination of, a systematic examination of an online professional community, not limited to an organization. For example, I have seen, let's say, communities of HEC, well, I mean, not HEC, but let's say Harvard University, something, or some topic discussion not related to science or something like that, or a scientific community. Pardon my language, that's how it's called. It's called I Fucking Love Science. It's on Facebook. It's a huge community that has actually been examined. But I have not seen an examination of a community that was originally started as ad hoc, that now actually unites most of Russian active sociologists, both academics and practicing sociologists. There are lots of people that actually do the work in the field and work in consulting agencies like Ipsos and some other places, and they're part of this community. So it's both an academic and a professional community, and I don't think I have seen an examination like that. So I think that in itself is a contribution. The second part is, it is interesting that there are peaks and valleys of the discussions. And of course, I participate in those discussions. Sometimes I did notice that those discussions that are very active, that attract the most number of people, are usually the ones that have to do with deeper sociological issues. So occasionally somebody would post something about, oh, salaries of sociologists at HEC, whatever. Or, some interviews with people living far away. I think Ivan Nisgaraev, Dmitry Rogozin, right, does this a lot. Interviews with people far, far away. Those things don't generate a lot of discussion. So when it's actually a societal problem, one of the reasons why Crimea generates so much discussion, because it actually affects everyone. Those are the ones that get very different points of view. So this is a community that allows for very divergent viewpoints. So it's not a community of fights that happen there are, almost on the edge of what I would want to say. They're beyond not being polite, right? I can't find the appropriate word, but there's actually no censorship going on. So people can express their thoughts, and sometimes they're not shy insulting each other. That is actually quite unusual for a Russian community, where people remain on good professional terms after that. Most of these insults that happen on Facebook, people just block each other, never talk to each other again, call each other names, whatever. Here, they remain professional while expressing their views in not very polite terms. This is actually an interesting part of this community. And one of the admins, and the person who started this community, Dmitry Rogozin, actually made it explicitly clear that he's not banning anyone, that everyone who wants to be a part of this community can be a part of this community. So that, it's almost like an outlet for academic freedom in a way, except of course, this academic freedom is also available to practitioners. So I think a deep exploration on the topics that generate the most discussion could probably highlight the issues that are important not to just research, but to society in general. And I think from the standpoint of modeling itself, you can fix a couple of things, just like Vlado suggested, because, he has a better and improved algorithm. But in terms of the content of the paper and the positioning and the way that it describes a real life functioning online community that provides a platform for professional interaction, I think this paper has a lot of potential. That's
wow.
all I had.
Thank you very much. But these are very, very, very good ideas about how to show the
result in a good way.
Yeah. Valentina, thank you very much.
Of course. You've done a good job. Very impressive, by the way. I don't think I've said that, but very impressive.
Yeah, and actually we have this part about thematical blocks, how Aryuna calls them. And we somehow decided not to include it into this article, but now after this discussion, I think that we should definitely add this interpretation. Because yeah, probably you remember that.
How I see it. Again, I am both an observer. I am both an observer from the outside, and I'm a participant in the community, and I think it's important to highlight what it actually does. So the topics, I think, should somehow, maybe not in the detail. I think maybe, I know, Nusha, Vlado, you can help me if I'm wrong here. Maybe you can do a couple of papers from this. One could be more over, like methodological exploration of what this community is like, where you develop those blocks, those interactions, whatever. And the second one, I think, could be more over content related, like what is it about? And is the structure similar to the other communities? I mean, no, that's too much. But I'm thinking that actually there could be a couple of different papers. One more of the structure of an online community and its development over time, again, from the standpoint of just the online network. And the second one is more of the contribution of this community to the society of sociologists.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that this Vlada's approach probably could be used as direct testing of that theory that you presented about these trajectories. But of course, we have to see the results, right? But this one, I think this paper, if you say a little bit, as Vale was also saying about the content of these discussions, you know, especially for the second and the third period, and a little bit of I would spend some time on the clustering that you obtained, as I was saying at the beginning. I mean, you know, and you have not to be afraid to send to international journal because you are treating a Russian situation. You know, the readers all over the world are interested what's going on in Russia. And so, for example, we are Slovenians, we are only 2 million, and we are publishing a lot of our, for instance, scientific community, as you know. And we have so many citations and everything. So international community is interested how other societies are doing, you know, and what's going on in these societies. So be sure.
I think the interest towards Russia and people studying society in Russia is only increasing now because of all the political situation that's happening around Russia. So it's there's a lot of questions about, well, is there still academic freedom? Or are people afraid to talk? And it's actually quite interesting that in this particular community, people just speak their minds. I have found very little censorship or self-censorship. I mean, there is no censorship from the community, but there is very little self-censorship. So people who have positive views of Crimea situation express those views. People who have negative situation express their views. So that's actually quite interesting because I don't see that much going on anywhere else. This is a unique community in a way. And I think Nusha is absolutely right. People will be interested in seeing this, I think more so than Russian community. I would actually send to international journal, not a Russian journal, because I don't know if Russian sociologists would appreciate this community for what it is. I mean, maybe it's just my biased opinion. I don't have very high opinion of Russian sociologists as a professional community. I think it's a bunch of little groups that interact very little with each other and have very little collaboration, very little support, and very little appreciation of the work that others do. I don't know if Dasha told you her horror story of publishing a paper in, you know, one of Russian journals that is actually harder to publish in than in a Q1 international, not because her work is not good enough, but because it's not being appreciated. So I don't have high opinion of what's going on in Russian sociology, at least right now. But this community is unique, and I think people internationally would be interested in hearing about it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dear colleagues, you motivated us so much, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you very much. Because
so
we were also unsure.
Also, if your other colleagues would like to hear Vlada's and mine comments or on whatsoever, we are really willing to help them. For instance, if they would have a talk here in the lab. So we are very open, you know.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you for being with us. But the idea is that we actually make all of our PhD students present their work at these seminars. We have 8 of them. That's 2 months of seminars nonstop. And I think they need somebody from the outside. I mean, of course, you first and foremost, to make sure that we are guiding them right. And they will be presenting their work, and Dasha kind of takes care of the seminar. One of us will probably have to take over for a couple of weeks at least, you know, here pretty soon. But, she kind of takes care of it, but I don't want you to get an impression that there is not a line. I mean, we've heard now 2 PhD students. We have 6 more to go, at least for the first round. I mean, they
have to present it in English in this case.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why the other work was in Russian is that the interview, that was a trial presentation on developing a survey, which will be distributed in Russian. So it's like, it kind of the language thing was the first thing there, that we had to discuss the concepts to be covered during this survey. And as you know, it's difficult to translate back and forth. So it was just the foundational things that we're talking about that will be covered in Russian. Once that work is going somewhere, then Maria will, of course, do a presentation in English and make it more formal and invite outside people. So just like it's supposed to be, yeah. They're just in a hurry to send out her survey as soon as possible because she's a 3rd-year student. She doesn't have much time left before she has to pre-defend. So she's on that, you know, final stretch. We picked her up after 2 years in a PhD program. I've known her as long as Antonina because she is the one who was from my very first master's program class that I ever taught when I first got to HSC. So there are still quite a few of those students. Somehow I developed very close relationship with that class. They're still around. So she's from that generation. So you know, I've known her for 10 years. But so, yeah, that's besides the story.
Good. It was so nice to see everyone. So hello to everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for being here with us. And Vlado, I hear that your course is going really well. As usual. I mean, there are just the right amount and the right level for the students. We have very good kids. They're motivated and they want to learn. They're very quiet, much quieter than, but I think online, I mean, everybody's quiet. But so far it's going well, I think. If you have any problems with them or if they give you any hard time, just let me know and I'll straighten them up. All right.
Vlad, we don't hear you. Vlad is saying something.
Yeah, it seems okay. You know.
No, they're very impressed. They're trying very hard. I mean, this is a very studious group. They really want to learn. Unlike last year's was the hardest. They are still very, how do I want to say it? What's the right word?